summers. Why, in December, there was a thin summer duvet on the bed. And if that woman hollering up the stairs, again, wasn't his mother, whose was she? Philip's, presumably. "Philip!" she had shouted. Yes, it was Philip she was cross with, not Alex. In another bedroom, Philip was failing to get up in time for something. Philip was the key to this. The rational explanation. Dad reckoned there was a rational explanation for everything, even things that made no sense at all. UFOs, ghosts, God. They're just the names people have come up with for stuff they haven't worked out yet. So the rational explanation, on his way home from David's, Alex had dropped by Philip's place and ended up crashing there for the night. Now, he'd woken up too dopey, too confused to remember having done so. Like when you go on holiday and the first morning you wake up surprised to find yourself in an unfamiliar bedroom. The part of his brain that expected him to be in his own room, his own home, was disoriented, failing to compute the messages his eyes were sending. Any moment now, it would all come back to him. That was it. The logical, reasonable, rational explanation. Which would have been fine if he'd known anyone called Philip. This was a big house. Off the landing outside the bedroom in which he'd woken up, there were 3 other doors, all closed. 1 set of stairs leading down, and a narrow staircase ascending to what he supposed must be a converted attic. He tried each of the doors in turn, 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. Called up the stairs. Nothing. No people. No sign of Philip. Although one of the bedrooms looked recently slept in. A girl's room, not a boy's. A gothic teenage angst thing was going on in there. He went down to the ground floor, to a high-ceilinged hallway that gave onto a sitting room, with another room off that, both empty. Radio sounds drifted up through the floor. The kitchen had to be down in the basement, which was where he'd find the woman who'd been yelling up the stairs, Philip's mum. When he found her, Alex would discover the solution to the puzzle of where he was and why. Hopefully she'd fix him up with some breakfast as well. As he was making his way to the basement, 2 thoughts struck him. Firstly, he'd never been in this house in his life. Secondly, he definitely had something wrong with his arms and legs. His coordination. Going up and down the stairs, in and out of rooms, he'd lumbered around like a drunk. He was at it again, colliding with the door frame as he let himself into the kitchen and sending the door juddering against its stopper. "For Dr. Frankenstein's creation," a female voice said in the style of a TV documentary narration. "Even straightforward motor functions, passing through a doorway, for example, could prove problematic." Alex found himself in a large dining kitchen, oven-warmed and smelling of croissants. The voice had come from the direction of a table at one end of the room. It belonged to a girl who looked about 17 and whose long straight black hair was streaked with purple. He felt self-conscious in just a t-shirt and boxers. She seemed unfazed, though, distractedly scouring the insides of a halved grapefruit with a teaspoon as she sat sideways on her chair, one black-legginged leg crossed over the other. The motif on her black t-shirt said serpent in jagged lime green letters. Her foot tapped the air, as though in time to a tune playing in her head. Having greeted Alex with sarcasm, she now ignored him totally. Before he could think of anything to say to her, there were footsteps outside and a woman bustled in through the open back door. Beyond her, Alex could see part of a garden and a fat old golden retriever snuffling around for somewhere to pee. No sign of anyone who might be Philip. "At last," the woman said, her dark eyes flaring. Then, with a flurry of hand signals. "And you're not even dressed! Sit down and eat. The croissants will be stone cold by now, but whose fault's that?" The woman was tall and bony, wearing a filmy dress that swished when she moved. She snapped off the radio, tugged open